Osama Melouli is currently training to qualify for a sixth consecutive Olympic Games. If he successfully clinches a spot in the 10 km open water event, he would become just the fourth swimmer in history to compete in 6 Olympics, behind Therese Alshammer, Lars Frolander and Daria Bukansou. The Tunisian participated in the open water marathon in Doha on the 13th of March 2021 to prepare for the Olympic qualifiers but did not achieve good results. President Kais Said's trip aims to show Tunisia's support for the democratic process in Libya, following the swearing-in on Monday of new interim Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Dbeibah on a pledge to reunite the divided country and lead it to the December elections, as reported by the president's office. Kenya's High Court voted to uphold a ban on female genital mutilation on Tuesday after a petition was filed by a female doctor to legalize it. In Kenya, 4 million girls and women have undergone female genital mutilation, the ritual cutting or removal of some or all of the external female genitalia. The country outlawed the practice in 2011. You may not have heard of El Grande Toto, but he is one of the most streamed artists on the Moroccan rap scene. With 20 million people from more than 90 different countries listening to his tunes on Spotify, the 24-year-old has started to make a name for himself in the music industry. Taha Fassi, who goes under the name El Grande Toto whenever he picks up the mic, is part of this new generation of artists that is changing the Moroccan rap music scene. A Gambian man is being held in custody in Germany on suspicion of murder, ordered by ex-Gambian President Yahya Jammeh. The suspect, named by prosecutors as Bael, is accused of crimes against humanity, murder and attempted murder while working as a driver for an army unit that hunted down Yahya's opponents between December 2003 through December 2006. He is accused of involvement in 2 murders and 1 attempted murder, including the 2004 killing of Data Haidara, editor and co-founder of The Point Daily and a correspondent for AFP for 30 years. The The number of early pregnancies in Ghana spiked sharply with the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the reasons for this was the 10 months closure of schools, one of the longest in Africa. In 2020, the pandemic prevented 12 million women worldwide from accessing contraceptives or family planning services, leading to 1.4 million unwanted pregnancies, the United Nations Population Fund announced last week. The United Nations called for a probe into the fire incident that killed dozens of Ethiopian migrants at a holding facility in Yemen's capital, after Human Rights Watch said it was started by Houthi rebels. The Ethiopian detainees had been protesting against overcrowding on March 7 when guards rounded up hundreds of them in a hangar. It was then alleged they then fired unidentified projectiles into the building. Footage of the aftermath, which AFP obtained from a survivor, showed dozens of charred bodies piled on top of one another. Cloaked with animal skins, several hundred men in traditional warrior clothes are paying their last farewells to the Zulu king Goodwill Zwelithini, who died on Friday in South Africa. The remains of the leader, who died at the age of 72 after serving for 50 years, will be buried at a private ceremony in the presence of men only, according to the Zulu rite. It's something that had never been done before in the Republic of Congo. Security forces have started to vote in the town of Dolisie, ahead of Wednesday's presidential election. 12,000 soldiers and police officers casted their vote. According to the Congolese authorities, this would free up security forces and allow them to focus on securing polling stations on election day. But most of the opposition candidates have pointed the move as a fraud attempt that would give President Denis Sassou Nguesso a head start in the election. An African Union delegation arrived in the Central African Republic a few days ago with the dual objective of creating political mediation between the government and armed groups, and observing the partial legislative elections, including runoffs currently underway in the country. Talks were tough between the delegation and the two opposing parties, so much so that the delegation was unable to visit the entire country. However, the delegation is satisfied with the conduct of the elections and calls on the government to engage in the dialogue advocated by the Coalition of Patriots for Change. An Italian court on Wednesday acquitted energy groups Eni and Shell of $1.1 billion corruption charges related to an oil exploration deal in Nigeria in the biggest corruption scandal in the industry. The long-running case concerns the 2011 purchase by Eni and Shell of a giant offshore oil field in Nigeria estimated to hold 9 billion barrels of crude.